reveal that their co-conspirator spoke with a distinctive accent unique to the Irish province of Ulster, a trait that earns him the nickname, the Ulsterman.
The identity of the Ulsterman becomes a mystery, a national obsession, sort of the British equivalent to Deep Throat during Watergate.
The real name of the Ulsterman remains a secret for over 50 years. Finally, in 2014, one member of the gang breaks his silence. He reveals the Ulsterman was 43-year-old Patrick McKenna, a lifelong employee of the Royal Mail, and that in exchange for a cut of the loot, McKenna provided Reynolds and his men with the most critical details of the heist. Which train to hold up, and when.
The date they robbed it was no accident. They specifically chose to rob this train right after a bank holiday.
Because the bank closure delayed the Royal Mail's collection of money, one particular train after the holiday carried an extra large load of cash. And McKenna told the gang which train that would be. But because Patrick McKenna died in 1992, it is impossible to be certain of his role in the robbery. Indeed, the revelation of the Royal Mail employee's involvement comes as a complete surprise to those who knew him.
The Ulsterman's identity was so secret that when his name was revealed, not even his family members knew that he was involved.
The story of the Great Mail Train robbery continues to fascinate people across the nation. And here at the Buckinghamshire Railway Centre, this traveling post office car recalls the daring heist that briefly transformed the British countryside into the Wild West. Just 7 miles north of the border with Illinois is the town of Monroe, Wisconsin. It is known for its rolling fields and quiet farms, but it also boasts a unique nickname, the cheese capital of the USA. Today, the region's traditions are preserved at the National Historic Cheesemaking Center. On display is a cheese kettle, a 19th century cheddar press, and a wooden form that can mold a 200-pound wheel of Swiss cheese. But amongst these pieces of artisanal equipment is one artifact that looks like it comes not from the farm, but from the fridge.
It's 5 inches wide, 2.5 inches tall, it's rectangular, it's wrapped in foil, and it has a red label on the outside with a picture of an old country castle.
According to local cheese purveyor Chris Suka, the pungent product contained in this wrapper sparked an interstate feud.
This cheese was so polarizing that it caused a battle of the senses.
How did an ordinary household food set off one of the region's sharpest rivalries? 1935, Monroe, Wisconsin. Most of the United States is reeling from the effects of the Great Depression. But this small agricultural community is weathering the economic storm better than most, thanks to its signature product, Limburger cheese. Limburger is inexpensive and full of protein, and pairs perfectly with cheap food like dark bread or potatoes. And as one of the few places in the U.S. that produces Limburger, Monroe knows its fortunes are tied directly to this Depression-era staple. Before leaving town, every shipment of Limburger cheese passes through the office of the Monroe postmaster, John Burkhardt.
Burkhardt was a very proud citizen of Monroe, and Monroe was very proud of Limburger cheese.
But one winter day, he's taken by surprise to find that one package has been returned. The rejected parcel is accompanied by a letter from an Iowa postmaster named Warren F. Miller.
And it says, undeliverable, because it was actually making people physically ill.
Miller claims that a noxious stench wafted from the package and made his postman feel nauseous.
Limburger cheese. It's very strong, it's very pungent, its odor. As it ages, it gets more abrasive. Some people think it smells like sweaty socks.
Citing an obscure postal regulation barring the shipment of goods with an objectionable smell, Miller says he can't allow Limburger to be delivered to customers in Iowa. The news enrages Burkhardt.
He took it as a slap in the face of what Monroe stands for. Burkhardt decided that no matter what, this package was going to be delivered.
Burkhardt sends the cheese back to Iowa. Yet once again, Miller rejects the package and returns it to Wisconsin. The move only incenses Burkhardt further. But he's also worried. If other postmasters in the country adopt Miller's policy, Monroe's economy will be sunk.
He decided he was going to go above Miller's head and get a ruling from the Postmaster General himself, so he shipped it to Washington, D.C.
But the Postmaster General's verdict hardly helps. He rules that the cheese may be shipped, but only if its smell is completely concealed. With Limburger cheese already packaged in foil wrappers, just like this one at the National Historic Cheesemaking Center, there's little more anyone can do.
It's not really possible to completely suppress Limburger's smell. At the time, they wouldn't have had a lot of options. Ultimately, the smell's always going to get out of it.
With his town's fortunes on the line, Burkhardt decides to settle the matter once and for all by challenging Miller to a public taste test.
If he ate a block of Limburger without getting sick, he had to allow delivery.
Miller agrees to the challenge, and the two rivals meet at a hotel in Dubuque, Iowa, midway between their two towns.
Burkhardt brought along with him 25 pounds of Limburger cheese to use as ammunition in his duel.
And with reporters looking on, Burkhardt and Miller face off over a block of Monroe's signature product.
This was the moment it all came down to. The future of Limburger cheese depended on this.
So who will prevail in this nose-to-nose face-off?
Most people know the 4 C's of a diamond. Now, Kay Jewelers brings you the newest C, chocolate. Levion Chocolate Diamonds. Save up to 20% on select Levion styles at Kay, the #1 jewelry store in America.
Okay, we're here. There's Dad, Mom, the twins, Aunt Alice.
You didn't turn me on Alice's phone.
Of course.
Don't forget Grandpa. Can the test drive be over now? Maybe just head back to the dealership.
Don't you want to meet your family?
Yep, totally.
It's practically yours, but we still need your signature. Hurry in for great deals all Black Friday weekend on select new Volkswagen models during the Sign and Drive event.
I sure had a lot on my mind when I got out of the hospital after a DVT blood clot. What about my family? My little buddy? And what if this happened again? I was given warfarin in the hospital, but I wondered if this was the right treatment for me. Then my doctor told me about Eliquis. Eliquis treats DVT and PE blood clots and reduces the risk of them happening again. Not only does Eliquis treat DVT and PE blood clots, but Eliquis also had significantly less major bleeding than the standard treatment. Knowing Eliquis had both turned around my thinking.
Don't stop Eliquis unless your doctor tells you to. Eliquis can cause serious and in rare cases fatal bleeding. Don't take Eliquis if you have an artificial heart valve or abnormal bleeding. If you had a spinal injection while on Eliquis, call your doctor right away if you have tingling, numbness, or muscle. While taking Eliquis, you may bruise more easily, and it may take longer than usual for bleeding to stop. Seek immediate medical care for sudden signs of bleeding like unusual bruising. Eliquis may increase your bleeding risk if you take certain medicines. Tell your doctor about all planned medical or dental procedures.
Eliquis treats DVT and PE blood clots, plus had less major bleeding. Both made switching to Eliquis right for me. Ask your doctor if it's right for you.
The church has a lot of friends.
They control everything.
Every source. Show me that it came from the top down.
Every secret.
We got to turn into it.
Will bring them closer to the truth. It's by far the best movie this year.
Got 6 weeks.
Smart Rated R. Now playing.
Only at Kohl's. Only once a year. Get $15 Kohl's cash for every $50 spent. Earn it on everything, including our biggest brands. Right now, online and in store. Plus, take an extra 20% off with your savings pass. This Saturday when you shop Kohl's and Kohl's.com.
Intel's best processor is here, so you can take this very real, very terrifying memory and edit it, share it, play it back in 4K quality.
Introducing Intel's new 6th generation core processor. It's our best processor ever.
It's 1935. The town of Monroe, Wisconsin is hoping to ride out the Great Depression on the back of its signature product, Limburger cheese, which it ships to customers nationwide. But when an Iowa postmaster says it's too stinky to deliver, a sharp Midwestern rivalry erupts. So who will win this battle of the senses? Monroe postmaster John Burkhardt unwraps his precious Limburger and slices off a small piece for his rival, Iowa postmaster Warren Miller. And as Miller samples the cheese, everyone waits for the Iowan's reaction.
And he actually really liked the flavor of the cheese.
Having passed the taste test, Miller agrees to receive Limburger cheese shipments in Iowa. Burkhardt is thrilled, as is the entire town of Monroe, Wisconsin. Its citizens celebrate the victory during a special Cheese Day festival and ride out the Great Depression by continuing to send Limburger cheese across the country. Today, Monroe is the country's sole producer of Limburger cheese.
There's still a lot of people out there who seriously love this stuff.
And this Limburger cheese wrapper at the National Historic Cheese-Making Center reminds visitors of the pungent aroma that set off a postal feud. Located at the confluence of the Brandywine Creek and the Christina River, the city of Wilmington, Delaware was one of the most important industrial centers of the 19th century. And today, its proud manufacturing history is celebrated at the Hagley Museum and Library. Preserved on the grounds of the DuPont Company's 1802 mill is an operational water turbine, a stone quarry, and a Victorian-era machine shop. But one object here looks like it belongs not in an industrial powerhouse, but in a medicine cabinet.
The artifact is about 5 inches tall. It has a faded brown label with handwriting that's hard to read.
According to archivist Lucas Clausen, the contents of this tiny vial once sparked an explosive tale of Civil War intrigue.
The fate of the Union rested upon what was inside this bottle.
What precious resource does this vial contain? July 21st, 1861, Manassas, Virginia. In the first major battle of the Civil War, the vaunted Union Army is routed by the observation.